This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Jamie Glazov Moment. Tonight, what race does a Muslim convert become? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit of a part two because in my last moment, I asked, what race are ex-Muslims? We're living in very confusing times, my friends. As you well know, those of us who want to defend our lives from jihadists, those of us who kind of don't want to live under Sharia law, those of us who want to fight on behalf of people who suffer under Sharia. And these people include non-Muslim people, and they also include Muslim people. Those of us who want to protect people from Sharia, those of us who want to protect ourselves and others from jihad, somehow we're racists now. Because that's what the left does. That's what the Unholy Alliance does. They call us racists, Islamophobes, Nazis, bigots, white supremacists. And it's very confusing because, as Robert Spencer asks so often on his Twitter and in his life when he's constantly accused of these moronic things, Robert Spencer always asks, what race is Islam again? I keep forgetting. So the Unholy Alliance, and by the way, that's the alliance between Islamic supremacism and the left, and they're joined and they're fighting and trying to destroy Western civilization. As we well know, they have a war against America, against Israel, and against the Judeo-Christian tradition. They're very clever and quite brilliant in how they've done this. So they're just constantly using this slander and these accusations of racism, and people are terrified. A lot of people are terrified of being labeled as a racist, and yeah, being a racist is very bad, absolutely. Nobody in their right mind or with a humanitarian heart or mind stands for racism. But what the left has done is made this such a terrifying label that people are just now cowed and terrified to stand up against jihad or stand up against Sharia because they'll have this term and this label smeared on them. And when I say people, of course I don't mean everybody, because a lot of us are fighting, and we're not going to be afraid to be libeled and to be slandered and to be smeared, because we're going to fight for the truth. But still, the left is very clever in how it's winning this culture war. So I've deviated for a minute, but I'm giving the background here because this raises a very serious and important and complicated question. Last week, in my other Jamie Glazov moment, I asked, you know, since Islam is a race, then what race do ex-Muslims become? Now this episode, I want to ask, when a white person who is not Muslim converts to Islam, what race does he or she become? Now, some of you might laugh at this, but as I've just explained, this is the new bizarre, surreal reality we're living in. And it even gets more complicated because this individual, this very interesting, intriguing individual in our society now, Linda Sarsour, apparently somehow changed her race by starting to wear a hijab. I don't know if you're following this, but Robert Spencer has written on this and documented it. Just look up Linda Sarsour changes color, Robert Spencer, and you'll see his column and work on this at Jihad Watch. So Linda Sarsour in one video was talking about how before she wore a hijab, you know, she was just some ordinary girl, you know, from New York City. She was just a white girl before wearing the hijab. Now, then in another time and place, later, Sarsour was saying how she was a person of color. So apparently, the hijab transformed Sarsour from white into a person of color. So this is very fascinating now. And I recommend doing experiments. You know, I've been experimenting. I've been putting on the hijab. I've taken a few selfies of myself, and then I put on a hijab. I walk around the block. I go back, take another picture, and it's not working for me. My race is not changing, but I recommend for a lot of you to try it and get in touch with me and see if it works. Look, let's just crystallize this, and I'm going to ask a question, the topic of my moment this evening. Since it's racist to be concerned about Sharia oppression and jihad, then I guess Islam is a race. So the question is, what race are ex-Muslims? Now I want to ask, what race does a white non-Muslim become when he or she converts to Islam? What race does that person become? Please send me what you think the answer is. Get in touch with me at Twitter, at Jamie Glazov on Twitter. Tweet me. Tell me what you think. And if it's very eye-opening, I'll be happy to engage you and also retweet your tweet. We're living in surreal and Stalinist times. And that Stalinist paradigm and structure has been very shrewdly and maliciously built by the unholy alliance between Islamic supremacism and the left. But we got to keep fighting it for the truth, because we're the real humanitarians that care for non-Muslim people and Muslim alike. We'll see you on the next Jamie Glazov moment. Good night.